We then come on to actually the impact on marketing in terms of the cost and the inflation of different marketing channels. So you can see on the left on the table that actually in 2020, as to be expected, that cost went down. And then we saw that difference and that rise again last year in 2021. The UK media inflation is on the rise again year on year. We are fully expecting further increases on some larger channels like TV, especially towards the end of the year, where we see it naturally anyway. But this year, especially, we have the FIFA World Cup. We have Christmas as well. Other mediums such as in-stream, radio are also on the rise. As static out of home now actually gets footfall numbers back up, we have seen that rise too. What is interesting is actually that magazines and newspapers have had a bit of a drop. And this really reflects actually that print is slowing down somewhat in its demand as physical print circulations continue to decline, but we actually consume more news and more information through other methods such as online or social media. Speaking of social media and the inflation there as well, we've gone away, we've looked ourselves actually between 2021, comparing that to 2020, the jumps in that inflation for these markets as well, and especially their CPM and CPC in the case of Google Ads. We can see this happening anyway, because 2020, we know that the cost of reaching people dropped massively as big players came out of the market. And then we saw the effect of this next year in 2021 with these costs and CPM rising again. So Meta, Facebook and Instagram had a 61% increase in its CPM. TikTok had a huge rise of 185%, but we will caveat that with it was against a very, very low base for TikTok, and as the platform is being used more, that CPM will rise. Google Display Network had a jump up of 75%, and Google Ads in general had a jump up of 14% in its cost per click. And it's these auction-based channels that are now just going to get even more competitive as more brands re-enter the market of advertising and really look for cost-efficient routes into them. Now, the irony is they're looking for cost-efficient routes, but actually jumping in them, making them more competitive, is going to make them less cost-effective on the whole. So this really is where we now need to use these channels more efficiently, more effectively, optimize even more to actually combat this increase in the inflation.